What up, YouTube? T-Movies here with his new series, Raised by Wolves, premiering on HBO Max, which I thought was pretty good, by the way. I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Ridley Scott movies, because his next films are not coming out until next year, like The Last Duel, and he has his Gucci movie coming out. So I have not really done a best Ridley Scott film yet. So with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Ridley Scott movies, because Ridley Scott's the man. He's made some really solid films. Anyway, coming in at number 10, I'm going to add this film titled G.I. Jane. Now, it's pretty much like a response to political pressure from Senator Lillian DeHaven, played by Anne Bancroft, who's the USA Navy, who begins a program that pretty much will allow for the incorporation of women into the service and all. And the program, begins with a single trial candidate, and Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, played by Demi Moore, is chosen specifically for femininity. And so, O'Neill ends up entering the grueling training program under the command of John James Orgale, played by Viggo Mortensen, who is very unfairly pushes O'Neill onto her determination wins. In his, pretty much under his respect. Demi Moore ended up shaving her head for this. Probably one of her best performances I've seen out of her. Ridley Scott directed this movie pretty well. Viggo Mortensen was great. This movie ended up being very intense. If you guys haven't really seen G.I. Jane yet, go check it out. It's a really decent flick. Number 9, I'm going to add All the Money in the World. Now this is a film that follows the kidnapping of 16-year-old John Pargay III, who's the grandson of billionaire John Getty, who in this film is played by Donald Sutherland. Now that role was supposed to be played by Kevin Spacey at one point, but due to the Spacey accusation, they ended up recasting him. And wait, did I say Donald Sutherland? I meant to say Christopher Plummer. My bad. And so Christopher Plummer ended up playing the role of John Getty. Donald Sutherland actually portrayed the role in a miniseries. That's kind of why I'm getting a little confused with that one. And you got in this, you got Mark Wahlberg, who portrays Getty's advisor. Michelle Williams portrays John Getty III's mother. I thought she was terrific. The true story aspect of this movie is pretty cool to watch. Christopher Plummer, of course, ended up scoring an Oscar nomination for this, and a well-deserved nomination. He was terrific in this movie. I mean, if you guys have not really seen All the Money in the World, give it a shot. I mean, the story of this is pretty gut-wrenching to really, watch. Number 8, I'm going to add the film Legend. Now, this, of course, stars the likes of Tom Cruise, and it is a fantasy film starring Tim Curry as the evil Darkness, who ends up seeking to create eternal rights by destroying the last of the unicorn. And so, Jack, played by Tom Cruise, and his friends do everything possible to save the world. And Princess Lily, played by Mia Sarah, from the hands of the Darkness. And this ends up becoming take place during in the world of unicorns, magic, swamps, dwarfs, rainbows. The fantasy aspect of this film was pretty cool to watch. I mean, Tim Curry playing pretty much the devil is iconic to watch. I mean, Tim Curry played an evil clown and an evil devil. What an interesting career that guy had. Anyway, this movie is really entertaining. The visuals at the time was actually pretty cool. I mean, if you guys have not really seen Legend, give it a shot. It's a pretty decent flick. Number 7, I'm going to add American Gangster. Now, this is a movie that stars Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, and it stars Denzel as Frank Lucas, who establishes himself as the number one importer of the heroin in the Harlem district of Manhattan. And you got Russell Crowe, who pretty much plays the detective that's trying to take him down and on. You had the late great Ruby Dee in this. I mean, you had Chiwetel Ejiofor. American Gangster is terrific. I mean, Denzel Washington as the role of, pretty much playing the role of Frank Lucas is really cool. This does feature the New York Mafia. This is an interesting gangster film. Denzel did probably one of his coolest performances. Russell Crowe, of course, he's worked with Ridley Scott plenty of times. I know he did a pretty good job with this. So yeah, if you guys never really seen American Gangster, give that one a shot. Number 6, I'm gonna add BLACKHAWK Down. Now this is a military based film, and it takes place on October 3rd, 1993, and it's where an elite team of more than 100 Delta Force soldiers and Army Rangers, part of the larger United Nations peacekeeping forces, and all larger United Nations peacekeeping force, and they are pretty much dropped into Civil War torn Mogadishu, Somalia. And you got Josh Hartnett, who portrays the Staff Sergeant, Matt Eversman. You got Tom Sizemore, who plays Lieutenant Cole Denny McKnight, who's the resourceful Delta Sergeant. You got William Fichtner as First Class Jeff Sanderson, while Ewan McGregor portrays the role of Ranger Spec Grimes. And this actually scored a couple of Oscar nominations. It actually won a couple, if I'm not mistaken. BLACKHAWK Down is a pretty decent war-based movie. Great performances by Josh Hartnett, by Ewan McGregor. Lots of yellow casts were all pretty good. Eric Bana was also terrific in this. If you guys have not really seen BLACKHAWK Down, it's a really decent war-based film. Alright. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to add Blade Runner. Now, this is a sci-fi movie that takes place in the year of 2019. And of course, you got Harrison Ford, who is pretty terrific in this. Who, of course, plays the role of police Deckard. And of course, Harrison Ford has done some iconic roles like Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Blade Runner is another one of his most popular roles here. Of course, Deckard's former job in the police department was pretty much becoming a talented Blade Runner. And here, Harrison Ford portrays the role of Rick Deckard, who's a retired cop in LA circa 2019. And LA, of course, has become a pen culture dystopia of corporate advertising, pollution, and flying automobiles, as well as represents human-like androids. You also had Rutger Hauer, who pretty much plays the bad guy in this. I don't know, he was terrific. The sci-fi element is terrific to watch. Ridley Scott's pretty good when it comes to the sci-fi genre. And of course, we did have a sequel of Blade Runner 2049, which I thought was okay as well. But the first Blade Runner is not really my favorite Harrison Ford role. The character Rick Deckard is not really my favorite Harrison Ford role. But Harrison Ford's still terrific in this film. If you guys have not seen the original Blade Runner, give it a shot. Who does not love a good dystopia film like that? Alright, coming in at number 4, I'm going to add The Martian. Now, this stars Matt Damon, who plays this astronaut named Mark Watney, who ends up being presumed dead after a fierce storm has left behind his crew. And so, you got lots of folks who are trying to bring him back home because, you also had you had a pretty good cast in this. You had Jessica Chastain, Michael Pena, Sebastian Stan, Kate Mara. The movie actually scored a couple of Oscar nominations, like Best Picture. It won a Golden Globe for Best Comedy for some reason, because I guess it was one of the funniest movies of that year. Anyway, The Martian is terrific. It's a really great space adventure film. Matt Damon playing a guy who gets stuck in outer space is pretty cool to watch. If you guys have not seen The Martian, give it a shot. It's a terrific flick. It is based on a book, and it's really decent to watch. Alright, coming in at number 3, I'm going to add Gladiator. Now, this is another film that stars Russell Crowe, directed by Ridley Scott. And here, of course, Russell Crowe portrays the role of Maxima, who's one of the Roman army's most capable and trusted generals, and key advisor to the emperor. You got Joaquin Phoenix, who portrays the villain in this, commander this. You also had the late, great Richard Harris, as well as Oliver Reed. This is actually was one of their few final features. They were pretty great in this. I mean, of course, Richard Harris is best known for playing Dumbledore in the first 2 Harry Potter movies. You also had Connie Nielsen, Derek Jacobi. You had John Hanson. Gladiator, of course, won loads of Oscars. It won Best Director for Ridley Scott, Best Picture. Russell Crowe actually won Best Actor, if I'm not mistaken. Gladiator it has some really cool action to it. Has some great performances by Joaquin Phoenix, by Russell Crowe. If you guys have not really seen Gladiator, it's a really terrific one. And I mean, the movie is literally 20 years old this year, by the way, so yeah. Alright, number 2, I'm going to add Thelma and Louise. Now, this is a film that stars Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, who plays these 2 working class friends who together have a planned weekend getaway from the man that lies. And I mean, you got Chris McDonough, who portrays Thelma's husband, while Michael Madsen portrays Louise's boyfriend here. And here the road trip starts out as good time, and the pair eventually wind up at a bar, but you know, Louise ends up shooting a man, and they end up going on the run. You got Brad Pitt was in this. Harvey Keitel plays the police officer who's tracking them down. I mean, this movie also scored a couple Oscar nominations. It won. It scored Best Picture, Best. I believe Ridley Scott got a nomination for Best. Wait, did this? I think this got a couple of Oscar nominations. I got them to check that. I probably could be wrong right there. But Thelma and Louise, it's terrific. I like the performances by Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis. This was an iconic film from the early 90s. I mean, it got released in 1991, and the movie still holds up today. If you guys have not seen Thelma and Louise, it's terrific. I mean, the car off the cliff scene is pretty iconic to watch. Pretty good flick. Alright, my number 1 favorite Ridley Scott movie of all time obviously is Alien. I mean, here you got got the chest bursting scene. You got Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley. You got Tom Skerritt, John Hurt. One of the most iconic sci-fi movies of the 70s. Of course, James Cameron ended up directing the sequel. Ridley Scott directing he's of course directed the first Alien. He gave us Prometheus, Alien Covenant. I think he did a really good job with the original Alien. It's a movie that still holds up to this day. Not to mention the late great Ian Holm was also in Alien. He was terrific. I mean, this Alien ends up becoming like a killing machine, and the effects at the time was pretty cool to watch. Sigourney Weaver, probably one of the most badass characters as the role of Ellen Ripley. I mean, if you guys have not seen the original Alien, it's one of the most. To me, it's one of the best sci-fi movies of that era. Of course, in the 70s there was Star Wars, Alien. They had some really good sci-fi movies from the 70s and all that. I mean, this ended up just being a sci-fi horror classic, So yeah, definitely go check out Alien if you guys never really seen that one. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10 G.I. Jane, 9 All the Money in the World, 8 Legend, 7 American Gangster, 6 Black Hawk Down, 5 Blade Runner, 4 The Martian, 3 Gladiator, 2 Thelma and Louise, and number 1 Alien. Now there's a few other ones I probably could have added. Not everything he done turned to gold. Of course, there was like a time where his career was a bit questionable. He did the movie The Counselor, which I thought was awful. He did that Exodus movie with Christian Bale. That movie really stunk. His other stuff, he did Black Rain. He also gave us Robin Hood, which wasn't so good. He did White Squall. Ridley Scott directed some pretty decent stuff. Like I said, not everything he's done turns to go, but Ridley Scott, I mean, him and his brother are both the talented Scott. Like the Scott brothers, of course, tragically his brother Tony Scott, who gave us the original Top Gun, tragically he passed away. Tony Scott was awesome as well, and Ridley Scott was as good. I mean, talent directors ran in the Scott household, I noticed. Anyway, let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite Ridley Scott movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. This is C Movie signing out.